Good morning, Shavua Tov, Agotavach. Welcome to the Kila Chari Torah daily review of Rambam 613 mitzvahs for Sunday, the 1st of August. We are still in the middle of the positive commandments, positive mitzvahs, and we're speaking in these last couple of days about Moadim, about appointed times, festivals, and seasons throughout the Jewish calendar. Positive mitzvah 158 requires that we eat unleavened bread on the 15th, on the night of the 15th day of Nisan. So, on the first night of Pesach, or for the first two nights of Pesach, for those of us who currently still live outside of Israel, we are to eat matzah. We're to eat unleavened bread. Now, there's when we get to the prohibition, this is where we distinguish between the positive and the negative commandments. There is a prohibition. We're not allowed to eat leaven for the entirety of Pesach, right? We said last week before Shabbos that you have to get rid of the leaven, expunge it from your domains, from your precincts. You have to get rid of it in the house, in the garage, in the car, in the cottage, everywhere. So you're not allowed to eat leaven. Now, if you want to eat bread at some point during Pesach, let's say you want to make a sandwich, so you can't use bread, so you have to use matzah. Let's say you want to, as you should do, take lechem mishnah, 2 loaves of bread, for hamotzi, to make your Shabbos meal, nighttime, daytime. So you can't use bread, can't use challah, so you got to use matzah. On Tuesday during Pesach, let's say Tuesday's not a Yom Tov, do you have to eat bread? You don't have to eat bread. You could just have potato chremzelach and a piece of chicken and peel yourself an apple, and you're in good shape. No bread, no fowl. However, not fowl like chicken, but fowl like no blood, no foul. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. However, it is a positive mitzvah. We should eat matzah on the 15th, on the night of the 15th of Nisan, at the Seder or at the 2 Sedarim. Again, for those of us who make the Seder 2 nights in a row and fulfill all the mitzvahs of the Seder, 4 cups, telling the story, eating matzah, maror, and so on, all that. And that is a remembrance, of course, of going out of Egypt. Concomitant to that is the following mitzvah, resting on the first day of Pesach, or again, for B'nai Chutz La'aretz, those who live outside of Israel, for the first 2 days of Pesach. These are Yom Tovim, a day of Yom Tif, which has almost all the laws of Shabbat, almost all the positive and negative mitzvahs of Shabbat. So it's a mitzvah to rest on the first day of Yom Tif. You notice that Rambam counted as a separate mitzvah here. It's not the same as Shabbos. It's the mitzvah of resting on Yom Tif. Interestingly enough, he mentions in the following mitzvah a mitzvah to rest on the 7th day of Pesach. So the first day or first 2 days of Pesach and the last day or 2 days, 7th and 8th day of Pesach, it's a separate mitzvah according to the Rambam to rest on those days also. Okay, we'll throw in one more positive mitzvah here, a mitzvah of counting the Omer, right? The Torah tells us you should count for yourselves from the Macharas, from the day after the day of rest. It says Shabbat. We understand that to mean Pesach, whenever Pesach is. You should count for yourselves from the day that you brought the Omer Hatanufa, the Omer, the sheaf of waving. This was the earliest barley harvest that ripened in temple time, that it was brought as a first crops offering. In the temple, we should count 7 complete weeks, 49 days, and the day after that will be another holiday, but it is a mitzvah itself to count the Omer. This is a complex and complicated mitzvah, and we have a lot of interesting discussions around that every year because everybody has a little bit of a different situation. It is a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah basically with 49 components, 49 pieces to it. So you count the first day, the second day, the third day, and make a bracha on each of those days. What if a person forgot to one day to count or mixed up their count somehow or other? Then they continue counting because it's still a mitzvah to count, but we don't make the bracha any longer if we've omitted a day because the completeness, the fullness of the mitzvah is missing if we in fact missed a day. This is a particular concern for people who cross the international date line. So when you hop on that Vancouver to Narita shuttle, don't forget to check with your local Orthodox rabbi to see exactly what you should do with regard to counting the mitzvah. Counting the Omer, mitzvah of counting the Omer, because you're going to cross the date line, and when you get to Tokyo, everybody, not like all of Japan, but the people, when you go to the minyan in Shul, they're going to be counting a different day than yours, because it's a different day over there. So you have to keep that in mind, certainly, when you're traveling internationally. I have been personally acquainted with people who traveled from Australia to North America the long way, changing planes in Europe, just to avoid the question of missing out a day, particularly with regard to counting the Omer. Okay, we'll pause there. We'll leave it there. Please join us again tomorrow. We'll talk more about these related mitzvot of the Rambam. Have a wonderful day.